Page 19, lesson 1-3 is on multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions work a little differently than adding and subtracting fractions. When you multiply fractions, you can just multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. You actually don't need common denominators when you're multiplying. Having said that, if you ever forget whether to get common denominators or not, if you do multiplying fractions, and you first get common denominators, but then you still go through the process of multiplying the numerators and multiplying the denominators, you will still get the same answer. It will just take you more reducing before you'll get down to that final answer. So if we look at this, solve and discuss it, the art teacher gave each student half a sheet of paper. Then she asked the students to color 1/4 of their pieces of paper. What part of the original sheet did the students color? So probably would be good on a problem like this to draw a picture out. So we have the original piece of paper, and then each person was given half of a sheet of paper. So let's say this red part is the half that they were given, that one of the students was given. And then they were asked to color 1/4 of their paper. So we split it into fourths, and one of those sections they colored in. Now the question is, what part of the original sheet of paper was colored in? So what we can do is, since that was split up into fourths, we can split the other part into fourths as well. And you can see actually overall, we've split our original paper into eighths, and we have shaded 1 out of 8, or 1/8 of the original sheet of paper. Now another way we could go about this is that we are shading 1/4 of the half sheet of paper. Now a lot of times as we go through in math, a lot of times the word of is going to be a signal for us to multiply. So 1/4 of a half, if you do 1/4 times 1/2, multiply your numerators. 1 times 1 is 1. Multiply your denominators. 4 times 2 is 8. We could get 1/8 that way as well. Example 1. There was 1/4 of a pan of lasagna left. Tom ate 1/3 of this amount. What fraction of the whole pan of lasagna did Tom eat? So the book's showing this a little differently than what I'm going to here. And that's fine, gives you some different options. So there was 1/4 of a pan of lasagna left. What I'm going to do is splitting this into fourths. I'm going to go all the same direction with these lines. That's going to make things a little bit easier for me in a minute. Okay, so 1/4 of the pan is left, and then Tom ate 1/3 of this amount. So 1/3 of that amount means if we split it up into 3 pieces, what he ate was just one of those 3 sections. So like this. Now what we can do then to figure out what fraction of the whole pan he ate, we can extend these lines all the way across, and we can see if this one section was what he ate, that would represent 1 out of, count up the squares, there's 12 squares, so that means he ate 1/12 of the pan of lasagna. Now another way of doing this without drawing that picture out would be that we could multiply. It said he ate 1/3 of this amount, so 1/3 of the 1/4. So if you do 1/3 times 1/4, that would give you 1/12 as well. What the book's showing you is that you could draw the different parts, draw the 1/3 and draw the 1/4, and then see where they overlap. That represents the product of those fractions. So just to show you, I guess, from scratch with what they're doing, if you do a 1/4 and you shade that, and then you go the opposite direction and you shade a 1/3, and then you can see where they overlap would just be in this one square. So if you look at the try it, they want us to find 1/4 times 1/5. It says using the area model. I'm using the area model as an option for you. It's not normally what I'm going to do, but if you want to use the area models, you can. They may not always work as well for you for some problems, but I will go ahead and go through this with the area model first. So 1/4 times 1/5, we can split this up. So 1/4, if you shade 1/4, and I'm just going from scratch here because it's easier then for you to see the progression of this rather than them having the lines already drawn for you. And then 1/5, so if we split into 5 sections the other direction, 1/5 would be shading one of those rectangular regions. Then where it overlaps is just in one of those squares. So that's 1 out of, altogether there are 20 squares, so 1/20th is shaded. Almost looks like an American flag there. Another thing you could do is just multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 5 is 20. Again, multiplying fractions, we don't have to get a common denominator first. Example 2, find 2/3 times 3/4 using a number line. So again, number line, it's another option that we could do. Again, it's not an option that I'm going to probably normally use, but I'll show this to you just so you've got another thing to consider. 2/3 times 3/4. Basically, if we draw a number line, and let's say this part's not here at the top. So we draw a number line and we go to, on our number line up to 3/4. And then 2/3 times 3/4, we're going 2/3 of the way to 3/4. So if you look now, they've got kind of these spots where they're jumping from one to the next. So there's 3 jumps that we would have to go to get from 0 up to 3/4 if we skip by 1/4 every time. And if we take 2 of those jumps, 2/3 of the way, that would take us to the 2/4 mark. If we just take 2 of those jumps, okay, that takes us to 2/4, or that's equal to 1/2. Now, once again, we could also do the multiplication, just multiplying straight across. We would get 6/12, and then 6/12 you could actually reduce all the way down to 1/2. Okay, so different options there again. If we look at the try it, then they want us to find 3/4 times 4/6. So they drew the number line here going by 6th to get to the 4/6. We're going to go 3/4 of the way to the 4/6. So to get from 0 to the 4/6, that would be 4 jumps here. We're only going to go 3/4 of the way. So 3/4 of the way, that would take us to 3/6, and then that reduces down to 1/2. Once again, we could do this as a multiplication problem. So 3/4 times 4/6, that would be 12/24, which we can reduce down to 1/2. The next thing we're going to look at is when we have mixed numbers. So with mixed numbers, what we're going to do, we're going to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions before we multiply. So you'll want to write that down. Change the mixed numbers to improper fractions before multiplying. So if you look at example 3, 7.5 times 2 3/4. I'm going to show you changing to improper fractions first, and then I'll mention the way that the book's showing this problem. Before we work this problem, it is a good idea, like the book's mentioning, to estimate to get an idea of about what our answer should be. So 7.5 times 2 3/4. 7.5 would round to the nearest whole number to 8. 2 3/4 to the nearest whole number would round to 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. So we're thinking our answer should be around 24. It's going to be a little bit less because we rounded both of those numbers up. So now, if you look over here where it says another way, this is how we can change these to improper fractions. So 7.5, if you multiply the whole number times the denominator, so 7 times 2 is 14, plus the 1 on the top gives us 15 halves. That's how they got this 15 halves over here. 2 times 4 is 8, plus the 3 on top is 11. That's how they got the 11/4. Once they're improper fractions, we can multiply straight across. So 15 times 11, if you work that out, that would be 165. And 2 times 4 is 8. So we've got 165 eighths. And then at that point, we can divide that out to change it to a mixed number. 165 over 8 means 165 divided by 8. 8 goes into 16 2 times. 8 goes into 5 0 times. And then we have 5 left over. So 20 and 5/8, just like the book had. Just to illustrate to you how this works, changing these to improper fractions, basically what we're doing, we're taking the whole and we're splitting it up into pieces. So I'm just going to show you with the 2 3/4. So with the 2 3/4, if we had 2 wholes and then 3/4 of another one, there's our 2 3/4. Basically changing to an improper fraction, we're taking the whole things and we're splitting them up. So since our pieces are in fourths, we could split our wholes into fourths as well. So for each whole, we have 4/4. So there's 4/4, there's another 4/4, plus our 3/4. And then if you add those together, altogether, that's 11/4. So it just works out that if you multiply the whole number times the denominator, that's going to give you how many pieces you'll have from the wholes, and then plus the 3/4 that we had besides that. It's not real convenient to have to draw these pictures out every single time, but I did want to show you, and so that way you can maybe visualize a little bit better what's happening. And oh, by the way, our estimate was 24. We got 20 and 5/8, so that's pretty close. That seems reasonable. The other way the book mentions is we can do partial products. So kind of what they did is they split it up into different rectangles. So 7.5 is the same as 7 plus a half. 2 3/4 is the same as 2 plus 3/4. So they've got kind of 4 different rectangles then that they split it up into, and they're finding the area of each rectangle. So in the top left corner, the dimensions are 2 and 7. So 2 times 7 is 14. The top right, we've got 2 times a half, which would be 2 halves, which is the same as 1. The bottom left, we've got 3/4 times 7. The 7 we could put as 7 over 1. Whole numbers you can put over 1, because if you divide by 1, comes out the same. 7 divided by 1 is still 7. And if you multiply there, multiply across would be 21 over 4. And then if you divide that out, that's the same as 5 1/4. And then the bottom right, 3/4 times a half. If you multiply those, that would be 3/8. Once you've got those, it's adding those 4 numbers together. You'll get 20 and 5/8. Okay? And again, it's up to you what you want to do. This is an option. You can do it this way if you'd like. If you prefer the other way we just did a minute ago, you can do it that way as well. It's kind of up to you which you think is easier way of doing the problem. So one thing before we look at this triad at the bottom of the page is we want to talk about what an equation is. So an equation is something that has an equal sign. So for example, 5 times 4 equals 20 is an example of an equation. 6 plus 8 equals A is an example of an equation. And so an equation has to have an equal sign. So if they ask you to write an equation, you've got to have something with an equal sign. So if you look at the try it, a clothing factory makes jackets. If each machine makes 3 1/3 jackets per hour, how many jackets does one machine make in 4.5 hours? And it says write and solve an equation. So write and solve an equation, we have to write something with an equal sign. So if it makes 3 1/3 jackets in an hour, in 4.5 hours, it'd be able to make 4.5 times that amount. So we're going to need to do 3 1/3 times 4.5. And the question you might say, well, how do I make that into an equation? Well, for this, since we're just going to work this out and that's going to be our answer, we could just say J equals 3 1/3 times 4.5. J for jackets, okay? If you want to pick a different letter, that's fine also. So this would be an equation we could use. You could have it the other way around. You could say like 3 1/3 times 4.5 equals J, okay? Or if you picked a different letter, that's fine. And then it says and solve, right? And solve an equation. So once we've got the equation written, we're going to solve that. So I'm just going to go ahead and change these to improper fractions. So 3 1/3, 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 1 on top is 10, so that's 10/3. 4.5, 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 on top is 9, so that would be 9/2. And then we're going to multiply. So we're going to multiply straight across. 10 times 9 is 90. 3 times 2 is 6. And then if we divide this, 90 divided by 6, 6 goes into 9 one time. And 6 goes into 35 times, and that's going to go evenly. Kind of ran out of space there. So what that's saying is that they could make 15 jackets in 4.5 hours. Again, if you go back to estimating, like we talked about earlier, 3 1/3 is closest to 3, 4.5 is closest, well, it's right in the middle, but normally we would round to 5, and 3 times 5 is 15. That doesn't happen very often, but actually our estimate was the same as the exact answer for this problem. So that's a pretty good indication that we're probably okay with what we did there. So we'll continue this with the next video, but this will give you a start at least on multiplying fractions. Have a good day.